This is your year. It's your year. It begins today. It actually began yesterday. And from the moment this conference ends, it is about you. And I'm not just going to, I talked once yesterday. I'm talking twice today. Today and tonight, I'm doing a program on relationships. Don't think for a minute that means that I have left your life. I gave you my cell phone. I gave you my email in the chat. I am always a screen away. I would be honored to help you move things along this year, especially if you get to a point where you have any questions. I'm going to talk now about what to sell your organization on. What do you go back and tell the members about? Number one is being resilient is a choice. Every single one of you who was on this call with me today, who was attending this conference, who made it through 2020 with the strangest year any of us have ever seen, you already realize this, but not everybody else does. Being resilient is a choice. We don't just wake up one day and go, oh, I'm going to be resilient. What does it mean? What do you share with your membership? Being resilient is simply this. It's your ability. It's how quickly you bounce back from adversity, from misfortunes, from inhibitions, from setbacks. Do you let them paralyze you? Do they defeat you? Or do you recover and pass and go through them through your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual toughness? We don't know where we're going. I was just listening to some reports today about this whole variant, where we're going, and grocery stores possibly going back to asking for masks again. And I'm going to be speaking a lot this fall, and all the schools in the state of Minnesota, I heard the other day, you're going to have to mask. At least the state schools have said you're going to have a mask on. If you're going to walk on our campus, you better have a mask. We're going to have to be resilient and move through that. What I believe you have learned, and what I believe is best to share with your membership, is this. Anyone who got through the pandemic, anyone who's still here, you trying to be a leader, your chapter trying to do amazing, wonderful things for your campus, you have chosen courage over fear. And just like, if any of you, just give me a thumbs up. Have any of you ever been an athlete? Have any of you ever been a thespian? Have any of you ever been a musician? Have any of you ever been involved in something that took practice before you, quote, took stage in front of someone? You've created what's called muscle memory. It's how the Olympic athletes that we are watching, under the crucialest of situations, under the tremendous pressure they're under, how do they perform at that moment? They've created muscle memory. They have practiced so many times that they're going to trust their ability. I think you've done the same thing. You have learned to choose courage over fear. If you can share that mentality with your chapter, that means in the future, whenever you're hit or they are hit with a tough situation, what are you going to do? You're going to go back and you're going to choose courage over fear again. Oh, that's going to be, I don't know if we can pull off that activity. Can we pull off the national project? What about our recruitment efforts? Do you think we can actually get anybody? Of course you can. You have to choose the courageous route through and choose courage over fear. Maybe the best piece of advice I can give you this year is, when times get stressful, if things aren't going as well as you would like, if this whole COVID thing gets out of control again, I would like you to act on a daily basis and perform your roles on a daily basis and make it look like you never expected anything differently. Okay, mandates are back. Okay, masks are back. They're not. Let's move forward. No matter what it is. And if you look inside the kind of rose-colored shade on the screen there, what I think COVID did, we should all be, and I'm not talking about the deaths. Please don't go there. I'm not talking about people that got sick or anybody that lost anybody. I'm not talking about that. But the little bit of adversity that it has put some of us in, I believe it gave us a chance to exhibit the spirit and the talent that we knew was living inside of us anyway. So instead of saying, oh gosh, a lost year, oh gosh, try to keep things really positive, move forward through them, and use them to the absolute best of your ability. Now, you might want to take a screenshot of the next couple. And by the way, earlier in the program when I was talking about this, if you ever want to take a screenshot, feel free to do that. And all I ask is that if you ever post it, if you'll just credit where you got it from. There's another leadership program I do, and I always talk about, should a campus organization exist? Does the organization, three things you ask yourself. Does the organization's purpose and mission enhance the campus? Does it positively impact the lives of the people who are in it? And does it positively impact the lives of those who are being served? And would the campus experience a loss if it failed to exist? I would love to have one or two of you wave your hand. If you want to go to the chat and unmute, let me know that. I'd like to have one or two people on behalf of your chapter and behalf of your school and tell me who you are and where you're from. Answer these three questions for me. Does your purpose enhance the campus? Do you impact the people involved and those served? And would your campus experience a loss? Anybody want to come forward for me? answer those three on behalf of your campus and your chapter? Going one, please.
So my name is Anna Zawinski. I am the president of the Barbara Cook chapter of Mortarboard at Purdue. So our purpose and mission, thinking about scholarship, leadership, and service, we're enhancing the community through our different events, such as Reading is Leading or our Mortarboard Leadership Conference on campus. For the second bullet point, does it positively impact the lives of students? Yes, I believe so, because we are committed to teaching other students what it means to be a leader on campus, what it means to give back through service, and what it means to get involved academically. And I think definitely the campus would experience a loss, not only for the students, but also for the rich history of alumni that our chapter has as well.
You're one of the best chapters in America. What was your first name again?
Anna.
Hannah?
Anna with an A.
Oh, Anna with an A. I'm so sorry. It was hard to hear. And I'll be at Purdue on the 21st of August. I'm the closing speaker for the BGR Gold Rush in Ross-Ade Stadium. So if you happen to be there, please say hello if you're not. But Purdue is one of my favorite campuses in America. And you're one of the real leaders, Ohio State and others. You're a couple of leaders of mortarboard in this nation. So thank you for that answer. Can I have another student from another school? Anybody else want to talk about how it works on their campus? Going once.
Hi, my name is Cass Rowland. I'm the vice president of the Carleton College chapter. I think one of the things that Mortarboard at Carleton does that's really impactful is trying to acknowledge and support the community as much as possible. One of our largest branches of operations is focused on, faculty staff appreciation, making sure that our members of community feel appreciated, that they know that someone's there to support them. But also we have scholarships for students. We have a lot of our community action plans have dealt with, trying to support local communities. Last year, we did a book drive for high school students in Northfield. This year, we're planning on doing a book drive for incarcerated women in the state. So I think, if Mortarboard didn't exist, I'm sure that Carleton students would find some way to engage, but at the same time, having a group of people that are so committed to doing that and taking the time out of their busy days to really focus on that, I think is really impactful.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll take one more. That was really well done. If anyone wants, I'll take one more from another school. These are fabulous. Thank you so far.
I can hop in.
Please.
Pardon me for not having my camera on. I'm kind of in a situation where I can't. My name is Ian Jacobs. I'm from the Beloit College chapter. I'm the president there. I think my campus in particular, I think there's a lot of hyper involvement from most of the students in every facet of how kind of our school operates. We're a tiny school, like 1,100 people right now. So I think that what Mortarboard does is it creates this outlet for people who are already hyper involved and are already leaders in different areas of campus and brings them together to be able to advance common goals. I know that we've been doing like read along with local elementary schools and stuff. We did I think a canned food drive last year. I'm still in the process of transitioning to president. I'm working with the old president still. So,
Sure.
But yeah, I think being at such a small school, it creates this, our visibility isn't super high, but I know that what we do is purposeful and meaningful, and that's important.
It's great. Thank you all for those answers. My answer for you to the
David, you're muted.
Thank you very much. Thanks for letting me know that. In Mortarboard's case, the answer is an absolutely resounding yes. Why? And you might want to take a picture of this. If you want to take a picture of this and take it back, and when you're trying to talk about the conference and everything you're trying to share with your membership, number one, you promote, encourage, and celebrate academic achievement. Not many organizations on campus will say as part of their preamble, as part of their mission, hey, we want everybody to be better academically. We want to be academically excellent. Number two, inclusivity, mindfulness, equity. These are a hallmark of your purpose. And lastly, leadership is your minimum standard and service is your calling. Again, this is what separates. There are many organizations on different campuses, and this is one of the toughest things Mortarboard will always have to face. On every campus in America, you could pay $50, $75, $100, and another honor society will go, you're a member, put it on your resume. They're not asking you to do this for the rest of your life. They're not asking you to promote scholarship, leadership, and service. They're not asking you to live the lifestyle that they're trying to espouse. They're saying, pay us, get your little certificate, put it on your resume. That's not what Mortarboard's about. That's not what it's about whatsoever. So of course, you're one of the more meaningful organizations. Let's talk about the heartbeat of a chapter. What does it mean to lead with one heartbeat? It means making purposeful decisions. The decisions that you make, you're making on purpose with the best interest of everyone else involved. And here's the big thing, no ulterior motives in mind. Every single day, and it might happen tonight at my at my relationship program tonight at 7:30 for you all, I get asked almost every single day, hey, David, can I be friends with my ex? This person I'm getting to know at work, I can't tell if we're friends or more. This person on my intramural team, this person I go to class with, I've got this job. I can't tell if we're friends or not. Really quickly, here's how you can tell whether you can be just friends. If you want to do that with me, 3, 2, 1, just friends with someone. If you're physically attracted to them, and I mean physically attracted to them, romantically interested in them, to where you would want to be more than that, and they could make you jealous by being involved with someone else, it's very difficult for the two people to be just friends because one or the other wants to be farther. They want to maybe have that person be their significant other. And so what that does is that creates an ulterior motive. The other part of one heartbeat is it's a special connection where no one is more or less important and no one cares who gets the credit. What is so difficult? I would highly suggest taking a screenshot of that. Do you know why that is so difficult with Mortarboard chapter? Because look at where everybody comes from. What I was hearing yesterday when we were doing the Hooray program and people were breaking up, I climbed a mountain. I was starting to cure cancer. I take care of it. It's unbelievable what people do. Then to ask them to check their ego at the door and come to an organization where no one's more or less important and no one cares who gets the credit, that's not always easy to do. And that is why it's up to you as a leader. And that's why you've come to this for a couple of days, so that when the school year starts and you're the head of that organization, you can create one heartbeat in your chapter. Something else to think about is this, and I'm going to be really clear, because if you are an executive with Mortarboard, if you are at this conference, you are among the cream of the crop on your college campus. There is zero question in my mind about it. And as a student leader, and as a student leader of one of the top organizations on campus, you need to know that you're in the spotlight. Some things I need you to know. Number one, more is absolutely expected of you, period, by the positions. If you've got to an executive level in Mortarboard, it means you are an exec in other things. You have shown scholarship, leadership, and service capabilities in many other things, or you wouldn't be in the position you're in. So number one, more is expected of you. That puts pressure. Are you going to deliver? Number two, you are identifiable and a potential target. Everyone in this world now is walking around with their phone. Everybody can document everything. And the more that we wear, the more a person's got their athletic uniform on, someone's got their Greek letters on, someone has their organization, they're wearing a hat, they're wearing whatever. It makes you identifiable as a potential target. And there's two types of people in the world. There are those who want to be completely and unconditionally supportive of you, and there are those who are a little bit jealous of what you've got going on. Never forget that. And you're going to have to walk the talk. Number three, there's an assumption that you get a lot of perks. People have no idea the amount of effort you're putting in to have some of those perks. Let's say I come to campus and do something. We get to go out to dinner. You're hanging out afterwards. Some of us are doing some really fun things. Is that seen as a perk? Sure. They don't know how long it took to bring the event to campus, how long it took to contract it. Did you get a room? Did you promote it? Nobody sees that. They only see, oh, look what you get to do. Number four, one of the hard things that you will notice as a student leader on a college campus, especially an elite student leader, is you demand effort and excellence from yourself and the people around you. And that's why sometimes relationships that student leaders are in, the interpersonal relationships, the friendships, and sometimes the romantic relationships are very difficult on student leaders, because you expect the same level of excellence and effort that you're putting in from your partner, from your teammates, from your roommates, and other people. Not everyone necessarily lives at the frequency of life that you are. That can be difficult. And number five, non-student leaders simply cannot relate to the time, effort, and sacrifice that you are putting in. And whether they've walked a mile in your shoes, and I coach a person who's a public speaker who has cerebral palsy, and he's in a wheelchair, and I always say you also roll a mile in their shoes. But it's easier for people to point a finger than it is to try and live the life that you're leading and do the types of things and make the difference on campus. If you don't mind, you might want to take a picture of that, go over this as a group of student leaders at one of your first meetings. But again, more is expected of you. You're identifiable as a potential target. There's an assumption you get a lot of perks. You're going to demand effort and excellence from yourself and those around you. And non-leaders simply cannot relate to the type of effort that you are putting in. 5 basic premises of exceptional leadership, service, and performance. These are how I live my life. These are how I've raised my children. These are how my relationships unfold. I run my business using these as a cornerstone. I know that many of you on this call today have been to every type of leadership experience there is. I am going to try to give you the 5 that I believe work if you put them into practice. Number 1, leadership is not something a position bestows upon us. It is something a situation offers us. You're not a leader because you're elected, selected, or chosen. You're not a leader because you're on this call today. You're not a leader because you're in Mortar Board. It's what you do with that opportunity that makes you a leader. If everything's going extremely well, one of the best years ever, do you let it go to your head and go, oh, yeah, what a year, and I was present, whatever it might be? No. You remain humble. And let's say that things are in absolute chaos. It's a hot mess. Do you blindly jump into that mess and make it worse? Or do you step back, take a moment, look at what's going on, ascertain the best course of action, and then step forward? Again, it's not because we're elected, selected, chosen, or hired for something that makes us a leader. It's what we do with that opportunity. Number 2, I would highly suggest that you take a screenshot of this right now and save it in your phone under mediocrity. Save it under that word. Mediocrity takes pot shots at excellence. If you are on the Zoom today with me, you are in the excellence category. And let me tell you what I mean by this. And I'm going to ask you to either thumbs up me or clap when these are correct for you. How many of you have ever been in a relationship with another human being, and in that relationship, someone said to you, you two are ridiculous. No one loves each other like that. Go get it. No one really cares for each other like that. You two are ridiculous. Ever have anybody say it? Anybody? Have any of you ever have a run of really good grades at school, whatever grade it might be in, and someone said, well, of course you should be getting good grades. Look at the major you're in. Look at the classes you take. Of course you should be getting good grades. Anybody? Anybody ever hear a comment like that said to them? How about this? Did you ever get an award at work, a daily, weekly, monthly, or a yearly award at work, and someone said to you, you know, you shouldn't be getting that award. You're just one of the boss's pets. We all knew you were going to get that. It's not like you deserve it. Anybody ever had say these things to you? Here's what happens. People have 2 choices in life. They can raise their game to the level of excellence that you call your minimum standard, or they can try and chip away at you and bring you down to loserville where they live so that they can be as successful as you without putting in the effort. If someone is taking pot shots at your relationship, if they are putting down your academic effort, if they are putting you down because you won some type of an award, I don't want you to combat them. I want you to look at them and say, I'm not sure what's not going well for you in life, but what can I help you do to reach your dream too? What can I help you do to reach your dream too? You help someone else reach their dream. Watch what happens to yours. Number 3, if you fight hard enough for your limitations, they will become yours. I have a question for you. This is about a self-fulfilling prophecy. Please don't lie to me. Now, I know I have an amazing group of people. I'm speaking at a Mortar Board convention today. I get it. How many of you in the last 48 hours have had, either give me a thumbs up or a wave, how many of you have had at least one negative thought about yourself in the last 48 hours? How many of you? At least one negative thought about yourself in the last 48 hours. How many of you have had more than one negative thought about yourself in the last 48 hours? I have a question for all of you. Is it going to be easier for you or harder for you to project a positive self-image to other people if you feel that way about yourself? Anybody? It's going to be significantly what? Harder. That's called a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't go to the right school. I don't have the right car. I'm in the wrong major. That crap's got to stop, and it's got to stop today. Repeat after me. It stops, and it stops today. Do it, please. Stops, and it stops today. Number 4, before I get there, I would like you to go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. Everyone, take a second, take a moment, Everybody, whether you're from Mortarboard, whether you're people putting on the event today, or whether you're one of the delegates, why do I want you to give yourself a pat on the back? Because you are here, you are with me, and you are on this Zoom call today. Why is that important? Folks, understand this. As an exec in your organization, especially Mortarboard, very few people are willing to put in the hard work as necessary and make the sacrifices necessary to be as successful as they want to be. There's at least a few of you that wish you weren't on this call today. Gosh, it's a beautiful day outside. It's a Saturday. Are you kidding me? We're doing leadership stuff. I'm in a conference. Really? There's no substitute for hard work and discipline. This will pay off for you. The connection of us being together, the other delegates that you are meeting, the people that you are hearing. Your national president, Gail Harrison Corvette, is one of the top female and top leaders, period, in America. One of the most amazing people walking this earth. She is one call away. She is one email away from you having that. And there's a number of others in Mortarboard that are that way. Number 5, people should hear about you from everyone but you. Be humble, be genuine, be thankful. Try to stay humble. I know in this social media world that that's difficult. Let your character and your work ethic and what people know about you, let that precede you. So I'm going to back up once again really quickly. Leadership is not something a position bestows upon you. It's what you do with it. Number 2, there are people who are going to take shots at you. Why? Because mediocrity takes pot shots at excellence. Number 3, get rid of that negative self-fulfilling prophecy. It's got to go away. Okay? You have to be your own greatest walking ambassador. You are. I'm not asking you to be cocky, excuse me. I'm not asking you to be arrogant, anything like that. I'm not saying that. Do not be arrogant, but I do want you to be a great walking ambassador. Number 4, very few people are going to want to work as hard as you do. I believe it's important to work smart and hard and to outwork your competition. And number 5, people should hear about you from everyone but you. Let everybody else toot your horn. Be humble, be genuine, and be thankful. I included this today, and I want to make sure that I don't go over my time. I want to leave time for some questions. Let me do this. I'm going to stop right there for a second before and I do have some more things coming up. Would anyone like to ask me a question about anything? I've been to 3,000 college campuses. I've held almost every position in Mortarboard, except I was never president, anything like that, but I was on national council. Is there a question about leadership? Is there a question about Mortarboard? Is there a question about what I've seen on campuses? Can I help you with a strategy that you're thinking about for when you get back to campus? I'll take a moment.
I have a question.
Go for it. I can't see everybody, so would you tell me who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, my name is Summer Faley. I'm the president at the Carnegie Mellon chapter.
Sure, Pittsburgh.
And I was wondering, when you're talking about like sacrifices, obviously most of us sacrifice a lot for, where we are today and the hard work.
Sure.
If a sacrifice makes you unhappy though, should you go on being unhappy until you reach that level of success that you want?
That's really interesting. If a sacrifice makes you unhappy, people, I'm going to answer this a little differently. People ask me every single day, they'll say, David, how do you know when to leave a relationship? If you're in some type of relationship, how do you know when to get out of it? And here's my answer to you. When the pain of staying in something outweighs the pain of losing it, it's time to lose it. So if whatever you're doing is causing you distress, pain, anguish, if it's gotten to the point where it's absolutely not worth whatever possibly could happen at the end, it is probably time to get out of it. If it's causing you a little bit of distress because a growing pain causes a little distress, or us trying to reach another plateau of who we are, that's a little different situation. But if you honestly think it is detracting from your life, and if it's unhealthy for your life, do I think you should stay in it? Absolutely not. Because what might be difficult for you might be a no-brainer for someone else. And you might be putting in all this effort and time in something that you think is right for you. When it's not, you step into something that is, and you blossom and you flourish. Thank you. That's a great question. Anybody else?
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. Have a great year at Carnegie. What else can I answer?
I have a question. This is Anna from Purdue again. Something that I think is unique about Mortarboard is that everyone in the organization is already super duper involved on campus. What is your recommendation to kind of make Mortarboard a priority for people whose schedules are already so busy and they weren't necessarily even expecting to be in Mortarboard their senior year?
It's great. And thank you for that question. One of my suggestions would be at your first meeting, whether it is Zoom or whether it's face-to-face, I would give people a sheet that had a room for their name at the top, and then 10 lines, just no 1 through 10 and 10 lines, and say, folks, all I'm going to ask you to do is over the next 2 minutes, I'm going to play a little bit of music. I would like you to list the top 10 priorities in your life right now. And if you don't mind, I'd like you to include wherever mortarboard is on that list, if mortarboard is in your top 10 priorities. And I'll give you an example. I do this with I also coach people on relationships. If you've seen the movie Hitch, what Will Smith does in that movie, I do every single day of my life. And I also coach people on how to be better public speakers. I was working with a couple the other day that was having a real problem. And I said, do you mind if each of you, and the young lady went first, and I said, do you mind telling me your priorities? And she did. And I asked the gentleman in the room at that time, I said, tell me your priorities. Because my number 1 priority is God. My number 2 priority is my family. Number 3 priority is I want to get good grades in school. Number 4, I want to take really good care of myself. My fitness is very important. And then number 5, my significant other is absolutely in my top 5. She had a tendency to look, I looked over and she looked a little bit crushed. Not many people want to run around thinking, I'm number 5, I'm number 5. But it's important to know where something falls on a priority list so that you as a president aren't expecting more than they can give. So everybody turns in these, and they can do it anonymously, by the way. You can leave the name off the top. The names aren't even important at this moment, but you can see from there where the group has prioritized mortarboard. And then the other thing to do with mortarboard chapter, folks, I'm just going to give you the best advice I can. Ask people what they're capable and willing to give this year. What are they capable of giving? What are they willing to give? Somebody might say, I'm the president of my fraternity or sorority. I'm the president of the orientation board. I'm president of the organization that leads the spirit section at the games. I can give you a bit. I can connect you to some other people. I'm not going to have a ton of time this year. At least you know for that person that their time isn't there, but their heart is. It's important to know your members, what they have ability, what their connections are, and where they're willing to give you. I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll take one more. We're doing okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
As you mentioned,
Mind telling me your name and school?
Oh, sorry. I'm Dre Wyman. I'm the president at Florida State University.
Very cool.
So as you mentioned, all of us, or at least the majority of people who are here today, and other people on our exec boards and other people as part of our chapters are all great leaders, and they all are here because leadership, like you said, is a minimum. And in some situations, obviously, some people would like some people who would like to take charge more than maybe is necessary. Do you have advice for when maybe it's best to step back and let somebody else take the reins because they may be just as good as leading as you, and you want to make sure there's no butting of heads in the group, and when a president needs to take the reins and say, I've got this, I appreciate your help, but this is a situation where I need to be in charge?
Okay. Let me correct one thing you said. Everybody on mortarboard's a great leader. That's not necessarily true. They are leaders of some point, and they have the criteria to be on that group. I promise you, a year from right now, some of you are going to contact me and go, after I've had a year in mortarboard, you're right. Not everybody's a great leader. Some were great followers. Some were great team members. And some, darn it, I couldn't even motivate them. My suggestion for you would be this. In the organizations that I have been in, when I was able to build a board or a board of directors or a team around me, I tried to make sure I was the least smart person in the room and the least talented person in the room. Why? If I had people smarter around me and more talented, and those people could be motivated and they could buy in, people will support what they help create. I'll give you an example. One of you on this call today might not be a highly charismatic person. The last thing you'd ever want to do is get in front of a room full of people and speak. It might not be your thing, but another member of mortarboard would love to do that. So there's a big event coming up. Why not prep them and work with them, but allow them to be the face of mortarboard at that event? Can you imagine how they will beam with pride? Can you imagine how the rest of the organization will talk about, that was really cool that our executive officer just didn't step in and do it. They let someone who was perfect for that position and for that moment. Lead the group of people that you have based upon your knowledge, your skills, your motivation, and theirs. But the only way that you can do that is to get to know your people. Folks, at one of the first couple of meetings, do something, and I have other suggestions for you if you want some icebreaker ideas, whatever it might be. Get to know your membership so that when it's time to delegate or ask or have co-chairs or an event person, the right people are in the right seat on the right bus moving forward. Because of time, I'm going to move forward. I'll take a few more questions toward the end, and those are really great questions. Thank you. I'm going to highly suggest that you take a screenshot or two going forward. We don't know where this Delta and Lambda, all these variants are moving forward. I'm already hearing today that they're going to start to ask for mandates again. Who knows where we could end up? I sure hope not. I have a very full speaking tour at your colleges across America, and all of them right now are in person. So I am hoping we stay as open as everybody else. But what happens if you have to lead this group and it goes back to virtual? I'm going to give you some suggestions. Number one, embrace the advantage geographic distance offers. I'm going to do this as an example. Anybody who wants to really quickly right now, unmute, tell me where you're sitting right now. Tell me what city and state you're in. Go ahead and do it. Anyone?
Hi, I'm Bailey. I'm in Manhattan, Kansas.
Very cool. I've been there. Somebody else.
Hi.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Hunter Ricken. I'm at University of Findlay.
Very cool. I'll be there on Friday. Stop and say hello.
Hi, I'm Carmen. I'm currently in Portland, Oregon.
Very cool. Let me take one or two more.
Hi, I'm Margaret Meyer Henry, and I'm from Vermillion, South Dakota.
Awesome. I've been there many times. I'll take one more.
Hi, I'm Dylan Page. I'm in Hilliard, Ohio.
Hello, Dylan. Go Bucks. Okay, so folks, look at that. We've got someone in Portland. We've got someone in Kansas. We've got Kansas. We've got someone in Columbus. We've got someone in the Dakotas. Allow that geographic distance to be a plus for you. Instead of going, oh gosh, we can't all be together. Whoever's in North or South Dakota might have a completely different opinion about this versus Columbus, versus down in Tallahassee at Florida State. Embrace that and let people bring those differences to the table and go, well, you know, what's happening in my part of the country, what's working for us, use it as a positive. Don't see it as a negative. Number two, adopt a thorough brevity communication style, just like everyone just did for me. Who am I? Where am I from? Here's what I have to say. Be sincere, be brief, be done. If you are leading virtual meetings in the future, have people be sincere, be brief, be finished, and tell you when they're finished so that you can move on. Number three, maybe the most important thing I can tell you if we get back to a more virtual world, do not allow leadership to become disrespectfully casual. Here's what I mean by that. You don't see my dogs running around right now. My girlfriend is very sweet, and she's back there and they're watching something. We walked the dogs. We went on a long hike today. Why? So my dogs would be knocked out so they wouldn't bark all during this program right now. Am I in my pajamas? No. Do I have a screen set up yet? I don't want leadership to become so disrespectfully casual that people just go, I'll show up just anyway. And number four, that goes along with that, I don't believe that we just reward people because they got on a Zoom call or whatever it might be and put up a screen with them. And I'm not talking about people that have something going on or for privacy's sake. I don't mean that. But someone just, let me dial in. We're going to leave, but I'm going to dial in so my screen's up there. We don't just reward them because they showed up. We should be rewarding people and getting excited and motivating people because they were engaged and they were result oriented. So again, embrace the difference that the geographic difference gives us, adopt thorough brevity, don't allow leadership to become disrespectfully social just because it became more distant. And lastly, reward engagement, not just because of the fact that they showed up. Got a couple of minutes left with you, I think. I want you to choose to be courageous. It's an important word. And I hope that Ralph Waldo Emerson doesn't mind that I adapted his quote to be more inclusive. But it's a brave man or woman is no different than an ordinary man or woman. He or she is simply braver for 5 minutes longer. How do you form a heartbeat in your chapter? How do you show how brave you are? By at one of your first organizational meetings, talk about who you are, what your skill bases are, what you're excited about this year. Do you have any fears? And the types of things you're not real great at. You might say, I'm not a great public speaker. I'm not great at going and asking a business to support an endeavor through maybe some type of gift or sponsorship. I'm not great at. And let someone else on your chapter go, but I am. That's what I'm really good at. Oh, by the way, I'm trilingual. Oh, by the way, let the members of your organization know that you're courageous enough to allow them to become a major part of the leadership. I also want you to choose to be remarkable over choosing to be ordinary. The most important word on that slide right there is the word choose. Okay? We don't just wake up one day and go, oh gosh, I'm remarkable today. What's it mean to be ordinary? Ordinary is someone or something doing exactly what was meant to be done. Nothing new, nothing flashy, nothing novel. They're just doing the base bare minimum standards that basically usually go unnoticed, unappreciated. No one really cares or notices. Folks, look at what I wrote there. You're not attending the Mortarboard National Conference to end up being ordinary. None of you are anyway. But what you're doing this weekend is trying to get excited and trying to get prepared and absolutely ready to lead an amazing group that can change this year for your campus. So what do I want you to be? I want you to think about being remarkable. And something remarkable can be accomplished when you simply perform a common task uncommonly well. Give you an example. I'm going to turn dating doctor for a minute and give you an example. One of the hardest holidays for people is Valentine's Day. Why? Because the definition of romance that I use is to perform an ordinary act of love or kindness at an unexpected time. What's unexpected about Valentine's Day? Absolutely nothing. It happens on February 14th. The number 14 on most calendars is in what color? Red. It's supposed to signify love. I think it stands for the blood that has been shed by everyone who's ever screwed up that holiday. So get ready to take a screenshot, I promise. How do you be remarkable? David, how do I handle Valentine's Day? You don't give them their gift or sentiment or card or act of kindness on the 14th. You do it on the 13th with a little handwritten note that says, no one as special as you should have to wait another day. No one as special as you. So what happens? You're going to get loving on the 13th. You'll still get loving on the 14th. And if you can tell they weren't thrilled about what happened, you can say to them, I was just kidding. I know tomorrow's Valentine's Day and you have 24 hours to regroup. Folks, it's not necessarily that you have to be this remarkable person every day, this leader where people go, wow. It's how prepared you are to allow other people to share in the leadership experience with you. There's also something that I believe there's a split second in time every single day where we choose to be remarkable over choosing to be ordinary. And the question is, when that hits us, what are you going to do? I'm almost out of time, so I want to go to the back here. I don't want to go too far. So I don't want to go over my time. Two things I want to cover before the end here. I want you to make a lasting impression, something that maybe you can teach your chapter that will really help build a bond. And how do you make a lasting impact every single time that you work with someone? Number one is you absolutely listen. I love that graphic. I love the eye contact. I love the body posture. I love the interest in what they're hearing. I think that picture kind of says what I'm thinking when I say listen. Number two, affirm. And I'll give you an example. Let's say that some of you are serving over the summer to try to make a few bucks before you go to school, and you're serving someone, and they say to you, you know what, my order's not right. You got my order wrong. The first thing you do is listen. You listen intently. Number two, you affirm and say, all right, I'm understanding you ordered this. This is what was brought out. Is that correct? So number one, you've listened to them. Number two, you've affirmed what you heard from them. Number three, you serve them to the best of your ability. You take away the wrong order and you bring them back the right order. And then the last thing, which most service people and the people who are involved in service and leadership, most people don't do, is you thank them for the opportunity to have done it for them. So let's say that you're doing this and someone in your organization has something to say. Number one, you listen to them. You know, I don't know about our meetings. I don't know about our purpose, that last event, whatever it might be, listen to them. Affirm back that you heard what they said. Serve them to the best of your ability, and then thank them for the ability to do it. And when your organization, when your chapter does something for someone else, listen to their needs, affirm that you heard it, serve them, and thank them for the chance that you had to lead them. And lastly, I don't want you to wait till after this conference. From this moment forward, you can move forward. And what can I have you do, and can I leave you with? Number one, be intentional. Every single interaction you have with someone else matters. And now you're representing all those other organizations too, but now you're representing Mortarboard. And if you knew some of the people who have gone before you, you would realize who you are representing. Number two, be alert. The speed of life continues to accelerate daily. Stay alert. Don't keep both your ears potted up to a level that you can't hear the world around you. Stay alert. Be alert. Number 3, be respectfully social. Every post, every like, every thumbs up, every thumbs down, every comment leaves an impression. And lastly, strive to enhance every single life that you touch. Maybe using how to make it last, listen, affirm, serve, and thank, whatever it might be, but strive to enhance the life of every single life that you touch. And you're in a position now, folks, this is no joke. You're in a position to touch a lot of lives. I don't want to go past my time. I think I'm right about done. If I have a minute or two, I'll take any questions you have. My email address and my cell phone are in the chat several times if you want them.